Yeah. And we live, man. Shout out to everybody that's tuned in. Conscious Conversations, man. It's going down. You feel what I'm saying, man? The purpose of this though is to bring people in, Q&A. You want to debate, you want some advice, you know what I'm saying? Conscious Conversations, man. I seen this meme though that kind of make me want to start this off with just having a cool little conversation, maybe. You feel me? About us being tired of code switching. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of us that be in professional, realms, we be tired of code switching. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you, Stephen Lee, Swirl Baby TV, Zamorian. Shout out to you, James. Appreciate you, man. We just, you know what I'm saying? I'm finna get ready to drop the link though. So definitely, you know what I mean, for the people that want to jump in, want to ask questions, or you know what I'm saying, get into a small debate or advice or whatever you want to conversate about, finna get ready to drop the link, man. Education is elevation, research over me search, man. Shout out to everybody that's tuned in. There it is right there, man. I actually do have me a nice little intro, you know what I'm saying? Y'all can let me know how y'all feel about it, you know what I mean, after we play it, you know what I'm saying? But shout out to you, Pinky Promise Life, Jason. Yeah, me too. When y'all coming in, y'all going on, let me know what city y'all coming in from, man. Go on, let me know what city y'all coming in from. What's going on, Rita? Shout out to my hometown, Bryan, College Station, Texas, specifically Bryan, Texas, you know what I'm saying? More specifically the west side of Bryan, Texas, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody over there, man. I'll be home this weekend for the family reunion. Shout out to Memphis, Tennessee. We got Chicago in this place. We got Chicago. I said Chicago, Las Vegas, Fort Worth, Bakersfield. You feel me? Tuned in from Baltimore. We got Shreveport, Louisiana. Hey, everybody in Louisiana. You feel me? Especially everybody that's in South Louisiana and that part of the Gulf Coast, man. Thoughts and prayers go out to y'all. You feel me? If y'all know any websites or any people that's putting together efforts in terms of helping people that's on the ground in Louisiana, you know what I'm saying? I'll definitely encourage y'all to drop it in there, man. Shout out to the Bronx. We got Bay Area in here, Sacramento. You feel me? Hey, man. Conscious Conversations, tell a friend to tell a friend. We're going to do this every Wednesday night, man. What's going on, Unc? See Uncle Slim in here. Shout out to St. Louis, man. You know what I mean? We're going to put some of these, you know what I'm saying? We got Sacramento. We got STL. We got the Bronx. Got Jacksonville, Florida in here. Hey, we in here. Hey, Austin, Texas. Shout out to y'all, man. Fort Worth, Texas. Chicago in the building, About to have us a nice conversation, man. I'm finna get ready to play this intro. And y'all let me know what y'all, you know I'm saying, how y'all feel about that. And then of course too, I'll drop the link again too. Hey, you can go hit the intro.
This for anyone who thought I'd ever fall off. 50 points with no assist, bitch, I'm a ball house. I got millionaires all inside my call out. If you don't like me, bitch, delete me, nigga, log off. They go for all y'all. I mean, damn, dub. I'm saying, dub, why these niggas always playing dub?
Yes, man. Hey, RIP to L Dub, man. Shout out to everybody that lost somebody in the year 2020. You know what I mean? Regardless what you lost them to, you feel me? Shout out to everybody, you know what I'm saying, that's still moving and grooving, you feel me, in the streets trying to get out of them, you know what I'm saying. Definitely want to start it off with that, man. Y'all let me know how y'all felt about that intro, you know what I'm saying. Shout out to the political plug for putting that together, you feel me. I'm finna get ready to drop this link, you know what I'm saying. Finna get ready to drop this link. And you know what I mean, you're welcome to come in. You feel me? You're welcome to come in. If you got questions, comments, concerns, we're taking them all, you know what I'm saying. Tired of code switching. You feel me? If you don't know, if you don't have anything to talk about, you know what I'm saying? What do you know about code switching, and how do you feel about people saying they tired of code switching? Me personally, I think that it's something that I feel like it's a real tangible conversation to think about in terms of what it means to expend energy trying to navigate spaces and places when we talk about being professional. You know what I'm saying? And what that means, man. And also too, man, when I drop that link, you know what I mean, dropping the StreamYard link, all you be able to do is go to your web browser, copy and paste that link, and you'll be able to come in. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna come in through the virtual green room, and then we'll be able to, let you in here. You know what I'm saying? But definitely is excited to, you know what I'm saying, finally talk to somebody and get somebody on. Still waiting, into the comment section. We can turn it into a Q&A, anything that y'all want to, get into, you feel me? We got it. You know what I'm saying? We got Jimmy Beck say, come out the closet, bro. You feel me? That comment let me know you be on some bullshit. You feel me? But hey, shout out to you though. You feel me? Appreciate you for tuning in, man. Appreciate you for giving me that little bump in the algorithm with your elementary insult. You know what I'm saying? I apologize to you that you don't have the sense of humanity where you feel like you can't give a damn about people that's outside of your identity. You feel what I'm saying? That's all that tell me when you talk about coming out the closet and things like that. You feel what I'm saying? But with that comment though, man, I had this conversation with T.S. Madison, and T.S. Madison was saying, how we are all responsible for creating the DL man, you feel me? And I think that when you talk about coming out of the closet, you feel me, that's the type of conversation, you feel me, dialogue, words that create, you feel me, people being forced into the closet. You know what I'm saying? So, education is elevation. It's something for you to think about and chew on the next time you want to, you feel me, talk about people being in closets and things like that, That's the live stream life, unfortunately. Yeah, hey, the live stream life, it is what it is. You feel me? I'm used to live streaming. I just do it over on TikTok and Instagram usually. You know what I'm saying? But we gonna, keep on dropping the link. You feel me? Hey, shout out to you, Stephen Lee. You feel me? Hey, I just be trying to do what it do. You feel what I'm saying? And when people come in and try to say things that I'm used to dealing with, and make it where I can come off real quick with something, because it's like that what they thought it was clever, And usually when we start talking about things in terms of gender and sexuality, a lot of things that people say, they think this should be clever, but it usually don't be clever. It usually be from a very shallow place of understanding. And it usually comes from a lack of understanding and a lack of knowledge. You feel me? When we think about gender and sexuality. And for the people tuned in, I hope you know that those two things are not the same. You know what I'm saying? Noel said, oh, hold on, my bad. Awesome Blue said, have you seen the film Where to Invade Next? No, I have not seen that film yet. I have not seen that film, but is it something I should check out? Noel says code switching is not something that can have a policy. What are your thoughts from an HR leader and how to address this in the workplace, creating a space for being authentic? I think that's a great question, Noel. And using my knowledge about human relations and, human resource, I recognize that there's a lot of decorum and professionalism that's expected to be had when we are in the workplace. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to, being civil and professional. I recognize that there's a lot of ways in which we understand professionalism and a lot of ways in which we understand being, a space and time. And, being, I feel like, this being respectable, that it comes in a way that it polices Black language and a lot of language that comes, you feel me, out of non-normative communities or non-mainstream communities. You feel me? And I think the way that you would navigate that in terms of addressing it in the workplace is thinking about the intent of how the dialogue is given, but also thinking about, the ways in which we've been conditioned to already denigrate someone's intellect, professionalism, ability to critical think once they start using, once they stop code switching. You feel me? Because what I'm saying right now is a lot of times I don't want to code switch. I just want to say it cut and dry the way that I was taught to, the way that I was taught to speak. But I recognize even the way that I was taught to speak in my community, I was taught that there's a certain way I should talk when I'm in white spaces and places, a certain way I should talk when I'm around Black people, or that I can talk when I'm around Black people, I should say. You feel me? And I think that when we're talking about the workplace, I know there's just a lot of standards and values that we got to navigate. And I think the best way I can say it right now is answering that question like head on is saying, really thinking about the context of words and still recognizing that there are ways in which people that come from non-white communities still have and trying to be professional, but still infusing some of the language of their nurturer. You feel me? As Dr. George Jens would put it, you know what I'm saying? So that's the code switch. Everybody assume that being straight is the default. Yeah. I think that when the way that I came to understand code switching, I already came from how I was raised in Bryan, Texas. But then once I got into college policy debate, I started being able to make arguments based off of how I wanted to, you feel me, name them. So I had an argument called code switching. And what I learned from deploying this argument of code switching is that there were other modes in which people can switch language or switch performance that I wasn't conscious of. You know what I'm saying? And I think that the way in which we think about straight and gay, especially in like the barbershop, it's a lot of ways in which a lot of people deploy, you feel me, being, you know what I'm saying, like code switching. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to you, Swirl Baby TV, for definitely, I feel like making sure I account for that. Because I was just talking about code switching in terms of race and class. Because we know that not all Black people speak with African American vernacular. Not all Black people speak with Ebonics and slang. Not all Black people speak, you feel me, with that, you know what I'm saying, type of twang. You know what I mean? So I want to make sure I'm not pathologizing and stereotyping all Black folks for that. You feel me? But I think that you also I feel like you also was able to provide a little bit more intersectionality, a little bit more, you know, texture, you know what I'm saying, into what I'm talking about in terms of code switching, because we can assume that there's people that might be watching this that don't know what code switching is, you know. What up, CCN TV? Everyone code switches in some way. Urban dialect seems to be more forced. Yeah, I agree. I feel like in terms of mainstream dialogue, there's a way in which urban dialect, Black dialect has been appropriated and or it has been seen as a fungible object for people to use to be able to show that they're hip and being able to show they're cross-cultural. You feel me? So I definitely would agree in the ways in which everybody is forced to code switch. You know what I'm saying? The question is, what are you giving up when you code switch, and what are you getting when you code switch? You feel me? The question is, what are you having to cut off when you code switch, and what are you staying in the game when you cut off what you have to code? You know what I'm saying? When you code switching, because I know that there's a lot of ways in which we can really analyze how code switching operates, not only in terms of language and vernacular, but also in terms of performance and dress, in terms of presenting accolades and all that. You know what I'm saying? I think that that's the reason why I recognize that most things we talk about, there's always a multiplicity to it. It's always, you know what I'm saying, multifaceted. You feel me? The question is, I like to ask questions. I like to get my inner philosopher on. You feel me? The question is, though, are you willing to sit with and ask yourself those questions to be able to reflect on and thinking about different ways in which things are positioned, especially when it comes to things like code switching. Shout out to you, Emily Lee, for, you know what I'm saying, dropping it in there. It really impresses me when I come across Black people that deviate from their dialect. I think that the word I would use is more, I'm intrigued, because I'm usually intrigued on the ways in which we are seduced and or influenced to distance ourselves from a vernacular and dialect, in the ways in which we are influenced and motivated to kind of hyper identify with it. You feel me? And I recognize the way that Blackness and Black people is set up, not only in America, but I feel like within the Western world, I feel like there's ways in which it can be beneficial to be in proximity to us. And there's ways in which people, you know what I'm saying, always usually want to distance themselves from it. And usually when people want to be in proximity to us, it's usually based off of like commodification or appropriation. You feel me? things like that. You know what I'm saying? And I think that the more we get more intersectional with I feel like a black person's identity, the more we can understand, I feel like the depths in which how they can be exploited or, you know what I'm saying, extorted, or you feel me, be stolen from, used and abused. You feel me? So it depends. I think some people you are around. I think that most of the times the environment that you are in places really has the most development on how you deploy language, how you interpret language, how you understand language. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like on any type of social media platform you be on, you're gonna always find that non-black person that's trying to argue and debate and justify why they should be able to talk the way they talk because they grew up around so many black people. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it comes off as disingenuous, and sometimes it come off as, you know what I'm saying, being like, all right, it sounds like you're doing something right there, you know. But Brown Girl Life says code switching is something that I wasn't aware of. I did until a white person pointed it out to me. Interestingly enough, I personally tend to code switch into the black vernacular due to my background. Yeah, that's usually how it works, because I think that what I learned from really thinking about and sitting with exploring the history of code switching is usually it's usually deployed as a survival tactic. You know, in the ways how we're able to really hone into our code switching skills is being able to really hit into our survival tactics. You know what I'm saying? And survivability in terms of how you navigate the world. And we all know that how you talk, how you speak, or how you're not able to speak, it usually dictates what you have access to and what you don't have access to. You know what I'm saying? I think just to get a little spicy, you know what I'm saying? Emily Lee says language acquisition is the end all be all. Definitely, you feel me? Just to get a little spicy, you feel me? I'm curious to the chat. I pose a question, you know what I'm saying? Nephiler says, speaking proper is the bullshit for me. I don't like having to speak to white people in a certain way just to be accepted. It's an inferiority complex to me. And I think that when I introduced the concept of being tired of code switching, Neph, you gave the analysis really of what I'm getting at, you feel me? The analysis that I'm getting at is that it's really folks out here that's tired of recognizing the interplay of respectability politics. We feel like we always already have to appeal to white people where we have to be accepted, and thinking about what it means not to have to always be in the realm of setting up that complex where it's like, hey, I recognize that you have the ability to affirm me or to negate me, and I recognize my ability to deploy language. You're gonna be able to see how intelligent I am, quote unquote, stereotypically, how uneducated I am, you know what I'm saying, stereotypically. And we know that usually when we're talking about intelligence and education, it's done in a particular way. You know what I'm saying? Noel says, George, would love for you to have this conversation in my organization. Not sure this issue on the radar with white people, not intentionally come off. Hey, definitely, you know, education is elevation. GeorgeLeeSpeaks.com, Noel, you know that, you know what I'm saying, I'm a curriculum, you know what I'm saying, designer. So we definitely can get you some specific learning objectives to get into code switching, African American vernacular. And really what I'm gonna call is, you know what I'm saying, how my grandpa used to say, money talk and bullshit walk. But what we know is when it comes to professionalism, it's usually a lot of authenticity, a lot of people of color, a lot of, you know what I'm saying, people that, you know what I'm saying, non-gender conforming people, trans people have to give up in terms of language when it comes to authenticity, so we can make sure we being seen as being professional. So definitely can make that happen, Noel. Swirl Baby TV, I feel like how I speak has to do with how comfortable I am in space. I agree. I definitely agree. I'm the same exact way. You know what I'm saying? Hey, shout out to Toya G, you know what I'm saying, my co-host. Hey, if y'all don't know too, if y'all haven't had a chance, check out the Chop Up Show. That's my podcast. A lot of y'all ask me, constantly, you do a podcast? You would be amazing if you had a podcast. I do have a podcast. This is one that comes in a co-host. She says, one of the things my mom commented on recently was our tendencies to not code switch as much as we think on the show. Instead, she says we integrate academic language, AAVE, and profanity all the same time in a very interesting way. Giving an example was hilarious. Hey, you know what? I've never thought about it that way. And I think it's because, Toya, it's me, you, and Damo, and we all so comfortable with each other. And we also, you feel me? And like I feel like we don't have to go out of our way with each other subconsciously or consciously to validate our intellect. And what I recognize is in the academy, they call it imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome, when they feel like you're imposing basically inferiority on yourself, or you believe you don't belong in a particular place. You don't belong in a particular space. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all of my first generation college students. You feel me? I was a first generation college student, and what they teach us about, you know what I'm saying, is imposter syndrome. What I recognize in terms of that word in the context is used in the academy, that Black people and a lot of people of color already walk around with a particular imposter syndrome, especially when it comes to language. Because we know how we use words or how we don't use words, a person will really be able to take something from us. You feel me? Or be able to say we don't belong. I mean, we ain't supposed to have something because of the way that we speak. You know? And I think just to get a little spicy, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna drop the link again. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna definitely still getting into these comments. But I'm curious. When y'all hear the statement, you're talking white, I'm curious, what is y'all perspective? And I definitely want to bring some people along to hear y'all perspective. You know what I'm saying? Saying it, Pamela Hurston says, shout out to you. Definitely thank you for this comment. It hurts your credibility with white folks on your job. I definitely agree. And I think that is the catch-22 of being sick and tired of deploying code switching. And the reason why I'm talking about it historically as being a survival tactic, right? I'm recognizing that the reason why we code switch is for us to be able to navigate different spaces and places and be able to show that we also have credibility and legitimacy. What I'm recognizing too, if I'm being critical, right, and I'm saying putting on my philosophical debate mind, is that the way in which we code switch, it also legitimizes white supremacy and white credibility, because it shows that we're willing to play the game to get that credibility. Instead of being like, fuck you in your game, I'm not with the shit. My, you know what I'm saying, money talk, bullshit walk, my skills speak for themselves. I'm not gonna play this little game with you, right? I recognize that even when I go to my job place, the way I'm talking to y'all on this live is probably not how I'm gonna talk to you know what I'm saying, my job, right? But I'm recognizing, you feel me, and too, of course, I'm not gonna be cussing, you feel me, right? But I know that when I get comfortable, I start saying, you feel me, more. I know when I get comfortable, I start saying, you know what I'm saying, more. I know that in certain communities or amongst certain crowds, that little placeholder takes credibility every time I say it. It doesn't negate my degrees. It doesn't negate what I've read. It doesn't negate what I've accomplished. But I know that shit ain't marked onto my forehead. So when I speak it in public, right, I know there's different ways in which I'm judged. You feel me? And what I'm saying is I recognize the imposter syndrome in the academy and the way that language operates in terms of the world for people of color, especially Black folks and Native folks, definitely. You know what I'm saying? It's a way in which language is deployed against us and weaponized. You know what I'm saying? Hey, shout out to, you know what I'm saying, Brian, Texas, Mr. Q, you feel me? He said, I was once hired for a job because of the way that I spoke over the phone. But once they meet face to face, I was told the position offer was a mistake. And I think that this is I feel like this is one of the criticisms and one of the real impacts about why sometimes code switching gets in the way of legitimizing and giving credibility to tropes of Black inferiority, right? Because we all know, I feel like all Black folks and people of color, we all got our white voice. You know? And for us that grew up in the 90s and before, you feel me, we all, you know what I'm saying, millennials and people that's older, we all know that mama, daddy, grandma, grandpa, they had a way, and when they answer the phone, a voice they use. And we all grew up working on their voice, right? But what happens when there's a particular understanding or a particular person that they expecting to see based off your language and they don't see them? You know what I'm saying? Like, what does that mean? And psychologically, what does that do to a person when you're denied and you know you're denied because the way you look and not the way that you spoke? I think it's a fair question. You know what I'm saying? Which is mostly always baked in. Say, Emily said, let's talk about how school testing I read in the code that doesn't connect, that leads all the inequities in funding and education. I think that the internal link, Emily Lee, between what we're talking about in terms of code switching and what you're talking about in terms of higher education, especially when it comes to standardized testing and when it comes to, like, you know what I'm saying, equities and funding, the way in which we're able to use proper and use literal standardized testing values is how we're able to weed out a lot of African American vernacular English, and how we're able to get a lot of people to negotiate how much they want to distance themselves from the way they've been taught to you know what I'm saying, use language. You feel me? I know that last year I was a 9th and 10th grade English teacher at a alternative high school. All right. And teaching English to 9th and 10th graders at this alternative high school, I'm teaching predominantly Black and brown students. All right. And when we start talking about, you know, sentence structure and grammar, there's a lot of ways in which people automatically assume that Ebonics and shit like that don't link up with it in terms of like grammar, but it actually does. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Dr. Tiffany Diller Knox. She did some shit on this, man. I finally got somebody that popped in. You know what I'm saying? What up, Toya? How you doing?
I'm smooth, brother. How you living?
Doing good. Doing good.
Wonderful, wonderful. Hey, I'm really just kind of listening, and you know how we do, just kind of vibing and jumping into the conversation. But in between me transitioning over here, you asked the question that, you know, everybody, what is the first thing you think of, or what's your perspective of when people say you're talking white? And one of the first things, I mean, this is a deep issue topic, you know what I'm saying? So this is not the only thought that I come to, but you know, people have a weird way of expressing admiration. And I think a lot of times when they say that, that is a lazy way of them saying, I'm impressed with how you sounded and how you came across. And unfortunately, I associate that being impressed with that lexicon and that language with white people, right? Like that, it's a shorthanded, lazy way of saying that, you know, because there's layers and levels to it. And we are not ones to be like, oh, you know, there's an affinity, right, that we've created for that type of language. You know what I'm saying? So even when people say it disrespectfully, what they really saying in a weird roundabout way is, dang, you sound good. You know, and I mean, that's this, you know, it's a complex issue, this projection of whiteness and associating it with you, with it being separate or set apart from the way anybody else speaks. I mean, it's really embedded, you know what I'm saying? So it's levels and layers to it, but I think that's one of the first things that comes to mind. It's just on the low, what's happened is you have become kind of impressed and startled by the way that I've been able to articulate myself. And the first thing you've been able to ascribe that to is the standard of whiteness that you come to associate with that pattern of language.
So I'm not tripping in. So like, it doesn't sound weird if I say the way we code switch sometimes legitimizes white supremacy and whiteness in terms of acceptance. And being like, I know that if I speak this way, I appeal more this way, and that's more I'll be accepted.
Most definitely. I mean, if not even, I mean, outside of being accepted, I think that's a very umbrella term to describe things like being taken seriously, right? Or to describe a dynamic where I want to be understood without there being any question, right? Because like you said, you have a tendency when you're comfortable to use the phrase, you know what I'm saying, or you know what I mean. A lot of that is a dependence on people having some cultural reference, some context on what you're saying. And so when you don't rely on those, what we call like kind of punctuators, right? Or hedges around what you're saying, and you have to do the extra work of over making sure people understand you, right? That is associated with the level of whiteness, because we too cool for all the explanation. You feel me? Like you out of back. Look. Look. What's understood ain't got to be explained. We have all these phrases, all these little slogans within AAVE culture that allow for us to say, if you feel me, if you hear me knocking, let me in. You feel me? And that's a shorthand way of saying I shouldn't have to say too much more, because you understand, you picking up what I'm putting down. So
yeah,
hey, that's how I feel.
Yeah. Hey, thank you, man. You were the first guest on Conscious Conversations.
I do what I can.
I appreciate you. You feel me for the input.
In there. Hey, real quick, I want to plug The Chop Up Show. You did it, but I'm gonna do it again. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter at the Chop Up Show Pod. At Chop Up Show Pod on Twitter, and at the Chop Up Show. At the Chop Up Show on Instagram. We talking real. We talking live. Chopped up, never slopped up. Every Monday night, 9:30 Central. 9:30 p.m., 7:30 Pacific. We know it's late at night because, you know, we got lives, we on the move. But as you ease your day down on Monday nights, come step in with us. You know what I'm saying? Conscious Conversations, the Chop Up Show, we do it all. We out here. Shout out to the plug. Shout out to Consciously. I'm out of here.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. Definitely, man. Neff says black trans women and gay men do it all the time to fit in family, for work, public service, etc. with peers, romantic interests. Our lives depend on it. And I think I think when it comes to language, a lot of us underestimate how power runs through language and how much language has like been like a part of like colonialism, has been like a part of enslavement, has been like a part of getting jobs, has been a part of being accepted by your daddy, by your mama. You feel me? And I think that because we underestimate it a lot, we don't really think about it very deeply in terms of the implications about it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you, Coach Cody. Emily says linguistic is my favorite, and I'm so happy to be here. Hey, shout out to you, Emily, man. Definitely appreciate you for the input, you know what I'm saying, for the comments, you know what I'm saying. Make sure you tell a friend next Wednesday. We're going to be here as well, you know what I'm saying. And whenever you want somebody to get on here, you feel me, I always want to drop the link, you feel me, in the comment section, you know what I'm saying. And if you want to hop on and get your analysis on linguistics, you feel me, or anybody else in, you know what I'm saying, in the chat, welcome you on here. You know what I'm saying? Welcome you on here. You know what I mean? What's going on, everybody? Shout out to you, Jordan. Jeremy says, we do it, we get ahead. Yeah. I recognize we do it. When we do it, we get ahead. But I also recognize that it's a particular skill that everybody don't have. And what happens when you don't have the skill, man? Shout out to the political plug, man. Hey, you see, everybody was rocking with the, you know what I'm saying, with the intro. So I guess my little criticism didn't even matter. You feel me?
Yeah, I told you, bro. All you got to do is listen to me, and we gonna rock.
Hey, we out here, man. We out here.
But yeah, man, I just wanted to add to the, you know what I'm saying, to the conversation. Also do that last part of the plug in the chop up. Y'all know where we be on Mondays. But I wanted to add.
See you this weekend, man. Are you gonna be in Uncle Derek? Let me know in the chat. You gonna let me know? My bad, Damo.
Nah, shout out to all the Focus fam and Brian. You know what I'm saying? But what I wanted to add is a little bit of the historical context. You know what I'm saying? Like a large part of what we now call code switching is what W.E.B. Du Bois framed as the double consciousness. You know what I'm saying? Like when he considered that the two-ness that specifically black people, but as you know, society has evolved and more identity groups have began to flourish, because we've been able to hedge against the social stranglehold that whiteness had on society. Once we was able to, you know what I'm saying, get out of that, you started to see, like you say, the trans conversation, the gay conversation, the conversation of sexuality also has to do with code switching. You know what I mean? Because you have to, even as a gay person, similar to being a black person. Now, I know how people like to jump out the window and be like, oh, y'all want to say gay and black is the same thing.
There are black gay people, though. We're going to say black gay people. We're going to put black gay people are put in a quadruple consciousness, goddammit.
Right, because there are aspects of their identity that have to be navigated. Shout out to you,
Pamela, appreciate you.
Because it's you have, again, how gay people see themselves, how black people see themselves, how women see themselves, and then how the world interprets what it means to be gay, what it means to be black, what it means to be a woman, and then all of these things converging. You feel me? So when you talk about that survival strategy aspect, it's literally being able to be like, all right, this society has considered me, my behavior, what I look like, you know what I'm saying, what makes me deviant. So in order for me to make it in society, I have to be able to kind of disguise my deviance and make it acceptable, right? So that's why even it was a comment that dude made earlier. I ain't gonna be too long-winded, but it was a comment that dude made earlier when he was like, he's impressed when he sees black people not speaking in the African American vernacular. But like that, even though I don't want to put anything malicious on that, but that's a part of That's the part of the normalized racism to be like, you can not talk like that. That's great, right? Oh, you choose not to talk like the rest of black people. That's great. You feel me? That is a form of normalized racism that works to solidify the fact that the way that black people talk is not normal. And when black people are able to talk in a way that's not that, that's quote unquote impressive, right? That's what we pushing back against. Last thing I'm gonna say, there is definitely a such thing as talking white. If you speak the correct King's English to the T, you are talking white. Why is that? Because white people, this is their language, right? We are a people who has had a different culture, a different language, all type other things kind of interpolated onto us. We've been assimilated into white culture. So to put, like, when we say speaking proper is speaking white, is because in a white society, speaking like white people is proper.
Yeah.
That's simple. But hey, man, thanks for having me. I'm gonna continue, you know what I'm saying, checking out the conversation, yo. Hey, Conscious Conversations, y'all stay tuned. I'm out.
Hey, Conscious Conversations, man. Tell a friend, tune in. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Just to add more context to this conversation about code switching, double consciousness, talking white. I'm one of the people that believe there's a such thing as talking white, and I'm gonna lay down, you feel me, my analysis. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna try to do it in the best way in terms of giving context, giving a little bit of historical background, and also not saying that giving a disclaimer starting this off. I'm not saying that people that speak proper that are not white, that they have their authenticity of their racial identity negotiated or should be taken away. You feel me? What I'm not saying is that black people that speak proper are not really black. That's not what I'm saying, right? What I am saying is that there's a particular level of privilege and access that comes from being able to speak the King's English. Feel me? I think that when we talk about speaking language, we should start off. Remember, I've already started what I was showing y'all. We on some Socratic type method teaching tonight, right? So in terms of philosophy, I'm gonna ask some questions, right? And when I ask these questions, I want you to really think about the shit I'm asking. You feel me? Who determines what it means to speak proper? What is the origin of the English language? What historical phenomenon made it where English became the main language that's spoken in America? When we say that a person is speaking proper, what resources are they allowed to have? When a person doesn't have the ability to speak proper or doesn't want to speak proper, I should say, because that was a little ableist, you feel me? What do they lose? A lot of us don't think about colonialism, colonization. You damn right? A lot of us don't think about the real implication of colonialism. You feel what I'm saying? And how colonialism is the reason why I'm speaking to you in the tongue I'm speaking in right now. The illustration I like to do in terms of like how I like to teach in terms of giving y'all a nice little visual. For those of us that's familiar with the movie Roots, in the scene, you feel me? In the scene where Kunta Kinte is being beaten, he's told your name is Toby. That is a lot of the ways in which we were given this language of the English tongue, right? When we think about a lot of the Native American children that are being recovered now in Canada and in America at a lot of these boarding schools, a lot of those schools were justified through a civilizing process. London said hello. She want to shout out. Hey, shout out to my kinfolk London. Hey, Uncle Derek, man. Hey, y'all coming up? Y'all gonna be at the family reunion? What up? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be at the family reunion. What's up? You know what I'm saying? What's up? I'm looking forward to it, man. Hey, and James, I'm about to get into your comment too. But when we're thinking about just language and thinking about, you know, how the reason why we talk English in America is because English was the colonizer that won amongst the colonizers in terms of what I'm gonna call it is the scramble for America. You feel me? And that's the reason why we speak English. So when it comes to thinking about how we master the colonizer's language, there definitely comes resources and privilege that comes with that. You know what I'm saying? Say James Stanley says, I don't speak proper. I live in the South. I don't like chasing the bag. I don't use main every other word when I'm talking to another man. I don't use the word capping. That's a new one. I don't even know what that one means. I just speak the language, and every day when you're around people that use those terms, I guess for me, it just gets frustrating why you can't just speak the language. You don't have to speak white. I'm not into using slang words every other word while I'm speaking. So I think that one of the reasons why I like to make this criticism about speaking white, this criticism about how we bastardize African American vernacular English and the way in which I feel like really just project a lot of inferiority on the way that niggas speak, is because I recognize that in the mainstream way that language operates, when white people think that word that black folks use is cool, they will incorporate it into the mainstream lexicon of being able to deploy language. You know what I'm saying? Think about the like right now, there are a lot of Generation Zers that believe that African American vernacular English is internet language because it's been normalized and popularized on the internet. It's bussing. Stop capping. It's giving. It's the this for me. You feel me? Like all these shit is shit I grew up hearing my whole life. But I recognize now it's been incorporated into the mainstream America, but we still have this stigma based off of where that language comes from. I think also when we start talking about code switching, we start getting into cultural appropriation and about how language becomes appropriated. You feel me? Definitely want to say this one, Steven. Oh yeah, hey, I see you Friday, huh? Society, like everything else, is all conditioning and all social constructs, period. Aggressive assimilation. Here in Canada, we know all about it. Yeah, man. We know we know in Canada, uniquely right now, is where a lot of the old historical civilizing projects is being uncovered. I live in Oklahoma. I've been living in Oklahoma for over 10 years. Since I've been in Oklahoma, there have been a lot of indigenous people that's my age and indigenous elders that I've been around that talk about the horrors and traumas that was in those boarding schools. A lot of the time they've been gaslighted and told that shit didn't matter or it didn't happen. You feel me? Now they starting to recover all these bodies in Canada and you know what I'm saying, and thinking about all these, you know what I'm saying, shit that we haven't gotten to in America. Now it's starting to come to grips with how language has been used to dehumanize people, to literally take people away from their families. And then we think about now, you feel me? When Toya is talking, when Domino was talking, they was really talking about we all three of us at some point in our life have been told, well, you speak very well. And what we know when we told them you speak very well to be black, or you're making some type of juxtaposition when you're thinking of how, you feel me, this is outside of the exception of what you've been taught and conditioned to believe how black folks speak. You feel me? A lot of us black people that speak, you know what I'm saying, with a particular type of articulation, you know what I'm saying, in vernacular, we feel like it's an underhand insult. You know, just to you know what I'm saying? So Uncle Derek say the code, you know what I'm saying, code of the streets. I know, but I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying, push it. I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying, get us to think about it. You feel me? Get us to think about how when we buy into certain codes, we buy into the infrastructure in a system the code come from, or how the code is being deployed. Whether we talking about, again, literal language, dressing, performance, or standards. You know what I'm saying? I had got brought on to this dude named no, I ain't gonna say him. I don't say his name, you feel me? You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say the second name, right? But I got brought on to this particular black conservative Instagram page, and he's asking me about white privilege. And because I debated at the policy college level, at the highest level, I'm already hip to the game when optics is being used and deployed, right? So I'm already hip, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm consciously. So I'm already conscious to the shit that he doing in terms of trying to paint me as the angry black hood man, and he get to be the proper speaking, you know what I'm saying, black dude, right? I'm also peeping game too in terms of codes and different dog whistles that he's using in terms of trying to show people what type of black person he is, trying to show he ain't hey, I'm not like those black people over there. So when we're talking about codes, you feel me? It's not just language. It's different ways in which we have to navigate the world to be seen as appealing, accepting, credible, legitimate to white spaces, places, and inevitably white people. And I know it's a conversation that some of us might not want to hear. You know what I'm saying? But it's a conversation that we have to have. Because what I know is that when I get to go back home to Bryan, Texas, when I'm going back home, right, you know what I'm saying, back home, you know, literally in a couple of days, it's certain family members that have a high level of intelligence and have the ability to really to show you a whole bunch of different skills. But the way the world is set up and how they get pathologized and how they get stereotyped, you'll never know it because they speak with a Texas Southern drawl and they, you know what I'm saying, in they hood. So if I'm recognizing that there are different skills in my community, that'll be not only a service to, you feel me, the white world particularly, but even inside of my community, because shit, I know we usually use respectability politics in a way to police ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And I know I'm throwing a lot of words out. Let me know if I have to, you know what I'm saying, define some of these words. But yeah, I'm gonna drop this link again too, man. I'm dropping a link in the comment section. All you gotta do is copy and paste that link, put it into your web browser, and you'll be able to jump into the conversation.
Hey, to be clear, you don't have to copy and paste the link. Just click the link out of the comment. Yeah. Just click the link out of the comments.
I'm bad. You can just click the link.
So
just click the link.
You on Facebook,
I sound like a Generation Xer right there, huh?
Yeah, if you're on Facebook or YouTube, just click the link and you'll be able to come into the digital green room.
Yeah, man. Shout out to the plug, man. Shout out to the plug. Say Neff said, remember when Neff Alert says, remember when President Obama was talking about America being bilingual country, white supremacy didn't like that. That still impacts blacks. Oh yeah, definitely. I think that there's a lot of ways in which these codes get weaponized. You feel me? On one level, America love to say it's a country of immigrants. But on the other level, it likes to criminalize immigrants. And on the other level, it likes to ignore how there are some people that are here that didn't immigrate here. Native Americans, people, you know what I'm saying, descendants of enslaved Africans. You feel me? So it's a lot of terms, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times in which we get it, right? Respectability politics, I was going to like be extra and actually like pull up a definition and read it to you. And you know what I'm saying? I might do that, but I'm going to give you first like kind of how I would explain it, right? Respectability politics is the way and how us as people of color or minorities police ourselves and making sure we're accepted by white people. So when we talk about not saying the N-word, pulling your pants up, they're like it's literally taking different standards and values of the mainstream and just conforming to them instead of challenging themselves. A lot of times now people use respectability politics to gloss over the real live history and reality that we live in. So nowadays folks will say, hey, well, if black people put their pants up and stop calling each other the N-word, maybe we'll get some respect. There was a time that black people didn't sag their pants and wasn't always calling ourselves the N-word, and we still didn't get any respect. So it's almost a way of gaslighting. You know what I'm saying? But there's also another way respectability politics get deployed too in terms of gender, right? The way in which we talk about women being respectable or being ratchet in the hood, that's usually through a mode of respectability politics. You know what I'm saying? When we talk about, you know, trigger warning, rape culture, and we talk about the way in which we talk about like dress and how women get to dress and how women shouldn't dress. The way we talk about it is usually through the lens of respectability politics that say that if you're not respectable in this way, it justifies having X, Y, and Z happen to you. And that's every way in how we talk about respectability politics. The same way we say that, hey, well, if black people sag their pants and talk this particular way, it justifies being disrespected. The same way we deploy in terms of femininity and gender and say, well, if a woman uses this language or dresses this way, it's justified that she's treated this way and this, that, and the other. And that's the way respectability politics works. It says we have to conform to mainstream ideas. In terms of gender, it's saying that women have to conform to male masculine standards of being acceptable, being acceptable, being credible, being legitimate, being respectable. And when you don't do it, it's justified in you being slut shamed or you being seen as being not being a woman. You feel me? No, that's the way that respectability politics gets deployed. You feel me? The patriarchy, how, you know what I'm saying? Catch up, FW says. Emily says, but I'm wrong if I mention Jethro doesn't talk right either. I don't know the my bad. Hold on, I missed the context of that. The neighborhood I teach in is all English language learners. It is very, very southern. No one can talk the way our white kids talk and survive. Another angle. Oh yeah, I think that another angle to think about code switching is how, regardless of race, class, gender, how people down south are seen as being dumb. How we seen as being uneducated and stupid and dumb and slow. You know what I'm saying? Now that I've been able to travel, hey, shout out to you, Margaret Holmes. Definitely appreciate you for that. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you for that super sticker. But I think when we talk about language, a lot of ways in which Southerners are stereotyped and pathologized for being dumb and slow is a lot of ways in which really the proximity to blackness in the plantation really get used. You know what I'm saying? If it's me and I'm giving my analysis right, I'm gonna argue that down south it's stuck in time. You know what I'm saying? What I'm gonna use one of the debate words, Damo. Ontologically, and I say ontologically, that mean the origin of being, that mean like the way in which we see how the South operates, the way that we see how the South is positioned, the way that we see how the South be and is stuck in time. So a lot of ways in which we see how people down south are seen as being dumb and slow, we seen as being stuck in time, either on the plantation or in proximity to the plantation. And I think that the way in which language is used, especially when we think about like even like rednecks, like Southern white rednecks, you feel me? They are even seen as being, you know what I'm saying, being dumb and slow, but we see that's from a classist, elitist standpoint about economics and finances. You feel me? And how white rich elites are able to weaponize talking proper English against white Southerners. You know, and if I'm being real, it's a lot of the ways that I'm conscious of. Oh yeah, Damo. Okay, let me hear, Damo. Let me hear. I know that look. I know that look. Yeah, give me some pushback.
I mean, cause look. I understand how the Southerners and how they speak, how that gets. There's like elitism, like with capitalism, associated with that. But also Southerners put themselves in this position, right? Because when you establish your kind of credibility as a person by not being a Negro, you know what I'm saying? When you lose, like when that's no longer something that's like institutional, then you just being like, well, at least I'm not a N-word. It don't mean the same thing, right? So it's like when you valued owning slaves, when you valued, you know, all of these, when you valued a racist culture more than progress, right? Then that's how you end up getting left behind. And so the Northerners were able to be elitists and act like, you know, they're better than them, because while in the South they was focused on maintaining that racist cultural beliefs, the North was like, yeah, we racist too, but in industry. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we racist too, but schools, college, you know what I'm saying? Like learning.
And being real is really like they really say the same thing now that liberals say now. We're progressive racists. We more strategic with our racism. It makes sense when we're racist. You people are right. You're stuck on the old school way of racism. You need to get with the times.
I mean, because the North has always been, you know what I'm saying, the progressive racist. You feel me? Like you could flee the South and go to the North and be quote unquote free, but you still got to deal with racism. You know what I'm saying? Like that's always been the case. And so when when racism is just foundational to the North, but it's foundation to the culture of the South, then that's what end up, that's why they stuck behind. Yeah, just my 2 cents.
Hey, I think that yes, I agree. I guess the pushback I would give is that as black folks, they do nothing about that. You know what I'm saying? But also, too, adding to it in terms of agreeing, in more of agreement, is that early in the conversation we were talking about how the environment really has an impact on how you pick up language and how you understand language. We know that because, you feel me, a lot of white people down south were in proximity to a lot of black people, they picked up on a lot of the Geechee language, I feel like a lot of the survival tactics in which black folks did to infuse the language from, Kemet to Kibalan from, Africa, you feel me, West Africa, different language, you feel me, how we infused it into the, into English, and it became just picked up. And also, too, I think that since the beginning of America, there's always been an insidious relationship that America had with black folks, where they hate us, but we always been seen as being cool, right? Because think about it, it's some weird ass shit in terms of us being seen as the slaves, the savages, the irrational dumb people, but also the entertainers. You feel me? And it's just like, to me, you know what I mean? It's just a lot of weird shit in that. You feel me? Especially when we start thinking about the ways in which black women still was, birthing and breastfeeding. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these white babies, and they thought we was inherently filthy and dirty. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't seen that video too, I definitely got that. I think I put it on my YouTube page, but it's definitely on Instagram and on TikTok. You know what I'm saying? Nicole Johnson says that it's absolutely true. I'm from New York, and I have a female friend who would not talk to a guy because he had a Southern accent. Ridiculous. I know that's what it be. I know I'm very conscious to how we use language to give people value. And I know, based off of the context, there are different ways in which the Southern accent is devalued and or admired. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's something that I feel like all of us Southerners, regardless of your race, class, gender, ability, sexuality, or matter of fact, especially in accounting for, you feel me, if you Southern, I think that it also plays into, your accent plays into how you sing, and some of us, because some of us speak a little slow or speak very fast, seen as, being, intelligent or, not intelligent. Most of us seen as not being intelligent, man. And two, man, is y'all shy? Y'all shy today? Trying to see who gonna come on. I guess next week I feel like I'm gonna have to get find me somebody on TikTok or something. You feel me? To skin up in a debate on for conversations next week. You know what I'm saying? We'll see. But I feel like we having a cool conversation so far. So, hey, shout out to you, Kevin, man. Kevin say I'm late. Just got out of class. I want to check in and ask you saw the tweet I tagged you in today for Julius Jones. I did not see the tweet that you tagged me in today for Julius Jones, but I do have some content coming out specifically about Julius Jones, and I've been in communication with Julius Jones's team, with making content and figuring out what we can do to try to get, his capital punishment stopped. You feel me? For y'all that don't know, Julius Jones, as a matter of fact, I got my phone right here. You feel me? I'm gonna be making some content about Julius Jones. But since I was asked about it right now and I have a platform, I think that it'll be, worthwhile, and I feel like very, very appropriate for me to share the story of Julius Jones while I'm on this conversation. You know what I'm saying? Hey, the link right here, all y'all do is click it in the comment section. But Julius Jones, innocent man who's been on death row in Oklahoma for over 20 years. At 19 years old, he was convicted of murder he did not commit. He was at home with his family during the time of the crime. His family was not given the opportunity to testify in court, and multiple people have come forward saying that someone else, Julius' co-defendant, confessed to the murder. The Oklahoma Attorney General requested that Julius Jones be given an execution date of October 28, despite the state's troubling history with botched executions and the messed up details of this case. We know that the commutation hearing was given, and his clemency. I mean, not his clemency. We weren't giving clemency. Read this comment from JB. Shout out to the homie JB Williams, man. See, he was given commutation. I feel like I'm saying that word wrong, but they canceled the commutation for the 13th, and now he has a clemency hearing for October 5th. I asked JB, was that good news? And JB told me that's not good news, because that means that he's going to be executed 2 weeks after if he doesn't get it. You feel me? For y'all that, you know what I'm saying, justiceforjuliusjones.com if you're interested in learning more about it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can follow me on Twitter, you know what I'm saying, The Conscious Elite. So if you want to sign the petition, I'm actually going to be making this a video about Julius Jones tomorrow too on my Instagram page, and for TikTok. I'm going to be putting that petition in my bio as well. You feel me? Just to make sure we're getting the word out about Julius Jones. As a matter of fact, I think that's what I might do next week, man. I'm gonna I'm gonna get Julius Jones' sister. I'm gonna reach out to Julius Jones' sister and see, you know what I'm saying, if she would be cool with hopping on, you know what I'm saying, here and giving us more information about her brother and telling us about her brother's story. You feel me? And making sure that even if the state does decide to make this, you know what I'm saying, bad decision based on injustice, that the world knows about Julius Jones and knows about the real ugly nature of, you know what I'm saying, the goddamn death penalty in America. You feel me? And I know that Dr. Mark Lamont Hill has been getting a lot of heat for his take on, you know what I'm saying, the death penalty. But I think tomorrow I'm going to be adding context to why I think that we should be kind of doing away with the death penalty as a whole, especially in the light of people like Dylan Roof being put, you know what I'm saying, being given the death penalty, and people like the Boston bomber being given the death penalty, and people like Timothy McVeigh, the Oklahoma bomber, you know what I'm saying, given the death penalty. I think that those individual, matter of fact, I'm going to use this video right now to work on this, to work on my video tomorrow, because, you know, I only get like 2 minutes to say this shit, right? Hey, and shout out to you, Sage Jones, man. Appreciate you for the support and the engagement. But when we sensationalize these individual, you know what I'm saying, acts of devilish nature, it legitimizes the state nature to let live and make die. And what we know is that there's a disproportionate impact that the death penalty have on Black people, right? Today, I've been already starting to do the reading on the death penalty so I can make this video, just refreshing my memory, you know what I'm saying? Because you know, for y'all don't know, I have an undergraduate degree in African-American studies. And in getting this undergraduate degree, I learned about the prison industrial complex, and goddamn, the death penalty is a part of the prison industrial complex. What we know, though, is that Black people make up 13% of the general population. Black people make up 52% of the inmates on death row. What we also know is that who you killed has a big impact on whether you're executed or not, and you literally being placed on death row. I think tomorrow I'm gonna give the exact number, but I feel like off the top of my head right now, I think it was like 68% of the inmates on death row, or it's like a 68% chance of being placed on death row if the person that you kill is white. So when people say all lives matter, we see how like Black death is infused into the state, and we see how like the hyper value of white life, you feel me, is put into the state. So when we think about the case of Julius Jones, I think that it's important for us to not, and I guess too, I feel like for the video, if I'm trying to get him off, I feel like, you know what I'm saying, I guess if I was on the parole board and I was his lawyer, I wouldn't try to say his case, his own, the legitimacy of this, that, and the other. But I think in terms for education, in terms of thinking about morals and ethics, we shouldn't place Julius Jones' case in a vacuum and recognizing that because we recognize he's innocent, he shouldn't be killed. You feel me? I believe that, like, I don't think Dylan Roof should be murdered by the state. You feel me? I think that he should be able to live his miserable life inside of the state. And I think that we spend more money on execution than we do on keeping them alive. You feel me? So, you know, this just something to think about. You feel me? This something to think about, you know. Definitely, you know what I'm saying, shout out to you know what I'm saying, to you, Emily, Awesome Blue. When we give him the death sentence, we count the circle of violence. Not only are we counting the circle of violence, we're legitimizing the state's ability to let live and make die, or to let die and make live. And I think that's something we should be conscious of, especially in, you know what I'm saying, 2021. We're being conscious of fascism and all type of shit like that. If you're for questions, how has Africana Studies degree helped you in the post-college? Because I'm a college student, I'm interested in that topic. To be honest with you, that's a great question, because I think that a lot of us that get into Africana Studies or ethnic studies in undergraduate, we're discouraged because we don't think that it has any utility. I think that how I've been able to deploy my African American Studies, you know what I'm saying, degree, like postgraduate, is being able to use all of the political, social, economic history and knowledge that I was able to develop in that degree and do like consulting, contracting, as well as taking diversity inclusion jobs, as well as being, you feel me, in student affairs, or, you know what I'm saying, you know, getting into like the private sector in terms of being able to hone into that expertise. You feel me? Because it's definitely something that's needed. You also can be a teacher. You feel me? But I think that really getting into the private sector and getting into like nonprofits is like really the way you would go about in terms of getting an AFAM degree. Like my AFAM degree has a focus in organizational development. So I think that how I use mine is how I use mine, how I continue to use mine, is being able to market myself in terms of the private sector, of being an expert and being in a organizational development and professional development, and being able to hone in urban studies and being able to hone into urban development. You know what I'm saying? You just learn different like little keywords to how being able to do it. Lee, I wrote a screenplay about Willie Boskett's story. I've been working on his working on with his niece, and I think that Willie Boskett Law would make a great discussion. Hey, be real with you. Is it just me podcast? Shout out to you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even familiar with Willie Basket. You feel me? Or Willie Bosket. I'm gonna have to Google that right now. You know, but my wife, talked some shit to me and told me, it's like, I can't. Oh my God. Hey. His birthday the same as mine, December 9th, man. William Baskett Jr. is an American convicted murderer whose numerous crimes committed while he was still a minor led to change in New York state law so that juveniles as young as 13 could be tried as adult for murder and could face the same penalties. He shot and killed Noel Perez on a train operating. I say, what? Man. Okay. Damn. December 9th, 1962, 58 years old. I was born December 9th, 1990, man. That's crazy. We definitely gonna. I feel like if I, you know what I'm saying, that's gonna be a part of the discussion. I want to do some more research on his story specifically and be able to spit some stats. But I know off top of the head from what I learned in African American studies that when it comes to the a lot of the federal laws and a lot of the state laws across the country, I think it was a time I feel like it was like 95% of kids that's tried as adults, you know what I'm saying, being black. I can't think of what state it was. If it was Oklahoma or Texas. But I think I read definitely a stat. It was like 95% of children tried as adults is black. And I think that the way in which black kids get taken from childhood, the way that we get pushed out of childhood, the way that we get, you know what I'm saying, I feel like adulthood get weaponized against us. It really shows in the justice system, where a lot of times black parents get their kids to talk because they recognize the system don't give a damn about you being 15 and 16, that try your ass as an adult. And me knowing what I know about the land lease prison system and knowing what I know the history about the prison industrial complex, it's the last thing I'm saying about to get ready. You know what I'm saying? To hop off short. Shout out to everybody that's in tuned in to the first conscious conversations, man. It's only gonna get better and greater from here. If you know people that want to reach on to, man, and you know people that want to, you know what I'm saying, you know people that want. If you know somebody, as a matter of fact, this is how I'm gonna say this right here. If you know somebody that be on that bullshit when it comes to race, class, gender, ability, or sexuality, and you want consciously to read them their rights live, tell them to tune in and we can get down and make it do what it do. You feel me? So if you got, you feel me, your know-it-all ass uncle that believe in the gay agenda and you done and tired his ass, bring him on, tell him I'm inviting him on to conscious conversations and we're going to teach him some things on here. You feel me? If you got a weak ass cousin that's always talking some shit about Black Lives Matter and how it's a terrorist organization and this, that, and the other, tell them consciously is inviting them to conscious conversations. You know? What I was saying though, and you know what I'm saying, the last thing I was saying, right, is that I kind of forgot what I was saying, but I know I was talking about the prison industrial complex, right? Hey, Damo, what was I saying? What was I saying in the comment section? I kind of lost my train of thought right there. Man, oh yeah. What I know is that when it comes to children in the prison industrial complex in this Willie basket law, is that it's a lot to be said in terms of the school to prison pipeline and how a lot of Black and brown children are pushed into adulthood so some random ass corporate dude can benefit on their bodies in the prison industrial complex. Oh yeah. Hey, Ethereal Beauty said it respectfully. Anybody that want to smoke and come get it. Wednesday nights at 9:30. Wednesday nights at 9:30, I'm handing out free ass whippings and I'm an equal opportunity ass whooping them. You feel me? And I think they said that we were ass whooping them. But listen though, if anybody want it, they can come get it, you know. But also too, it ain't got to be always based in adversary. You feel me? So if you want to come on and ask for some advice or ask a question, you know what I'm saying, you can come on as well. If you want to just come on and you know what I'm saying, and converse, you know. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna drop the link one more time and see if I can end it out with somebody. You feel me? But you know, hope everybody feeling blessed and highly favored. You feel me? And trust me, man. When I read somebody they rights or I bust their ass and show them how they lost in the sauce about whatever they lost in the sauce in, I'm gonna do it respectfully and do it and hoping they being blessed and highly favored. You know what I'm saying? Are you saying we have to fix our school system before we fix our justice prison system? I think that both of these things should need to happen simultaneously. You feel me? Both of these things need to happen simultaneously, especially when we recognize the phenomenon of the school to prison pipeline. Right, we recognize that students right now are being taken out of the classroom and being put in the jail cell. And we recognize that there are things in infrastructure with the prison industrial complex that leads to that, and also things that the school system is able to, lead to that. So I think that these things have to happen simultaneously. There has to be policy that's sculptured simultaneously that deals with both of these phenomena, especially because we recognize they intersect. You know what I'm saying? You on mute, Damo? You on mute?
Hold on. All right. We good?
Somebody asked me how I spell whooping. How you spelled it? Yeah, we good. I can hear you.
All right. So I also want to point out that the United States government in a study pointed out that it recognized that Black children are punished at a much higher rate and a much higher frequency than other children, and with much more severity than other children. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't even just a question of like, it's not, okay, we got to change the schools and then we change the prisons. It's like, it's a culture of criminalization that starts with the process of socialization, which is our public schools. You feel me? So when you start there, like when you change the culture, what we used to say, free your mind and your ass will follow.
Hey, me and Damo used to have these ontology arguments in college policy debate, and we literally people used to try to, and so how we know complexes work. People used to try to, what ontology mean, thinking we didn't know what we say. We used to hit them with some shit like free your mind and your ass will follow.
It's that simple. right? Like if you change how your orientation towards like the way we're positioned to, or the society's position of blackness, that's how these institutions change simultaneously. You know what I'm saying? Like it's because the institutions are just how they carry out these practices.
Definitely.
If the focus is no longer criminalization, then that's not something we got to deal with in schools. You know what I'm saying? At work. You know what I mean? In society, period. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, I know you dropped the link again, so I was like, you know what I mean? I'll take advantage of that.
Yeah, hey, yeah, you know, so it's not finna end this out. I'm finna get out of itinerary. I'm finna end this out. I'm finna answer this question from Stephen Lee. I'm dropping a link right here just in case anybody wanna, you know what I'm saying. I see Khadijah say they, you know what I'm saying, scared, but if you hit the link, we're gonna, you know what I'm saying, we'll make it go a little longer. But if nobody hop on, I'm just gonna play, you know what I'm saying, the intro as an outro, and we're gonna end it, right? But Stephen Lee as how do I debate while keeping my composure? As somebody that debated for 4 years in college against the best of the best institutions that our country, you know what I'm saying, have, I was able to build, I think, a certain Jedi, I feel like, focus, you feel me, in terms of thinking about what are we debating about and not allowing for people to ruffle my feathers and or for me to blow up in a way where I'm no longer able to win the debate. You feel me? I think that there's a lot of ways where people have been conditioned to use different shit that we have names for in debate, like making ad hominem attacks or making straw man arguments. That I'm not gonna really be pushed off of my pedestal, pushed off of my trigger in terms of what I'm shooting in my debate, in terms of making arguments. You feel me? And I think that's how I'm able to do it, man. And two people be lost in the sauce. And you know what I'm saying, like my you know what I'm saying, like one of my best friends always said in high school, you feel me, Stacy G, man, shout out to Stacy Garrison, you feel me, I'll see you this weekend, man. Stacy G told me how to be a man of principle and not a man of pressure. You feel me? And on principle, I'm not gonna let nobody get me out of my element unless I decide I want to get out of my element. So when it comes to being mad or pissed off, that's not my element. You feel me? So I'm not gonna allow for somebody to, on principle too. I'm a man of principle, not pressure. On principle, I'm not gonna allow for you to get me out of my element because you've been rattled or because I ruffled your feathers, because you can't take the heat in terms of how I'm making an argument, right? So usually I just smile and laugh when people try to give me insults. You know what I'm saying? You know how many fellow conscious people I've debated in the conscious community that then try to throw some elementary insults about my sexuality or my gender, thinking it's gonna make me upset and thinking I'm not gonna be able to still whoop their ass on what I'm whooping their ass on. I've learned that it make them even more mad, right? So education is elevation. Argumentation is a manifestation of education. That rhyme, they ain't mean it to. You feel me? But that's one of the reasons why I like to debate. In closing, right? In conclusion, when y'all see me debating people, I'm not debating them trying to change their mind. I'm gonna repeat that. When I'm debating people, I'm not debating them trying to change their mind. When I say argumentation is a manifestation to education, I'm trying to educate people on how to give arguments, how to make arguments, but not only educating them people on how to deploy argumentation skills, but also literally trying to educate in the way that I give arguments in terms of quantifying it with facts, with histories and studies and stats and shit like that. You feel me? So when I'm debating, I'm not debating trying to change the person's mind or who I'm debating. I'm debating for y'all, the audience. Feel me? Education is elevation, man. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, he ain't want to hit the link. You know what I'm saying? And that's really how we doing it right now. You know what I'm saying? Y'all seen how the dude at the beginning of the live was talking about come out the closet and shit like that. But when I dropped the link, there was nowhere to be found. A lot of people, you know what I'm saying, how I was taught in Brian, be fronting and faking like they apples, but they really oranges. And when you squeeze their ass and apple juice come out and they see they wouldn't as, you feel me, as OJs they thought they was, you feel me? That's what it was. You feel me? At Theory Beauty, you probably can scroll all the way up and catch somebody talking about closets and shit like that. I tag you in the video on my page. I think you may find it interesting. I would love to hear your point of view. Oh yeah, hey Jordan White, every Wednesday, man, every Wednesday night, 9:30 Central. Y'all know we be on CP time, but I promise I'm, you know what I'm saying, make it work. Give me like a little 10-minute, you feel me? A little 10. I'm gonna say a little 10-minute, you know what I'm saying? A little, you feel me? A little grace period. You feel me? Like in between 9 and 9:40 p.m. Central, Wednesday night, we're gonna be able to tap into this. And too, whatever's going on in the world, whatever hot topic we're talking about, best believe on Conscious Conversations, we're gonna get into it. You know, Fanbase Fridays, man. If you haven't downloaded the Fanbase app yet, make sure you download it this Friday. Make sure you download it for this Friday morning, 9:30 a.m. Central. I'm gonna be, you know what I'm saying, going live over there in terms of like a little radio. You know, they got a little clubhouse shit over there, it's called Fanbase Audio. I'm gonna be going live over there at 9:30 a.m. You know what I'm saying, Central. You know what I'm saying? Hey, stay blessed and highly favored. Keep it sucker free in the land of lollipops. You feel me?
Yeah. Cool. COE. Cool. This for anyone who thought I'd ever fall off. 50 points with no assist, bitch, I'm a ball house. I got millionaires all inside my call out. If you don't like me, bitch, delete me, nigga, log off. That go for all y'all. I mean, damn, dub. I'm saying, dub, why these niggas always playing dub?
How